The attempts to assassinate Hitler are widely recognized and well documented. The attempts on the life of Mussolini are lesser known, especially the story of Violet Gibson, who came within a couple of inches of drastically altering the course of European history. Born into privilege, Gibson's father, the first Baron Ashburn, served as Lord High Chancellor of Ireland during her upbringing, which oscillated between Dublin and London. However, Gibson's life was not without its challenges. Afflicted by both physical and mental illnesses, then known as hysteria, she converted to Catholicism in her mid-20s. In 1913, Gibson found herself married to an artist, only to be widowed shortly thereafter. Following this, she relocated to Paris and dedicated her efforts to pacifist causes. During this period, she was diagnosed with Paget's disease, resulting in a mastectomy that left her with a significant 9-inch scar. Upon her return to England, she underwent a surgery for appendicitis, which unfortunately left her with chronic abdominal pain. Gibson's preoccupation with religion intensified as she entered her 40s. Engaging in retreats, studying under the guidance of Jesuit scholar John O'Fallon Pope, she became captivated by the concepts of martyrdom and mortification. By 1922, Gibson experienced a nervous breakdown and was institutionalized due to a diagnosis of insanity. Subsequently, in the company of nurse Mary McGrath, she journeyed to Rome and resided in a convent. In February 1925, Gibson attempted suicide by shooting herself in the chest, yet miraculously survived the ordeal. It was her fervent political and religious convictions that eventually led her to attempt the assassination of the Italian dictator in April 1926. On the day of the assassination attempt, Gibson arrived at Palazzo del Littorio carrying her firearm concealed under her black veil, along with a rock in case she needed to shatter Mussolini's car windshield. Mussolini had just concluded his address to the International Congress of Surgeons in Rome. Gibson got quite lucky as Mussolini strolled through the Capitoline Square, surrounded by a throng of people mere feet away from her. But this is where her luck ran out. Just as she pulled the trigger, Mussolini turned his head to look upon some students who were singing in his honor. The bullet grazed his nose as his head pivoted. She quickly pulled the trigger again, but this time the gun jammed. An angry mob surrounded her and she was nearly lynched, but police escorted her away before the furious onlookers could exact their revenge. Hours after the attempt on his life, Mussolini re-emerged in public, a bandage on his nose, but otherwise no worse for wear. Thanks to Gibson's connections, a deal was made, where she would be deported back to England and placed in an insane asylum. While imprisoned, Gibson wrote letters pleading for her release, but the letters were never actually sent. She remained in a mental asylum until her passing in 1956. Her funeral passed without the presence of any family members, marking the end of a tumultuous and enigmatic life. Gibson's tale is tragic yet inspiring. Suffering physical and mental illnesses for most of her life, she still stood alone and had the courage to do what was right during the rising tide of fascism. It is also a cautionary tale in what can happen to those who oppose fascism when surrounded by the sympathetic and empathetic. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Odd Historian. This is a new channel, so please let me know what you liked and what I could improve. And if you want to help this channel grow, please hit the like button and subscribe. See you next time.